All right, hey gang, it's Jimmy coming to you from the Cowtown compound with facts, not fiction. For years I've made it pretty clear if you're in government and you follow policy, ethics, and laws, then you don't ever have to worry about me reporting otherwise, right? So to the Conway, Cabot, and West Memphis School Board members who are really mad at me right now for reporting that they broke the law, there's a really simple solution to that. Okay, now stay with me. Stay with me. I want you to listen to this, guys. Don't violate policy. Don't violate ethics, and don't violate the law. I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that, right? Now, as I posted on Thursday, through my researches on services, Attorney Jay Beckett provides the Conway School District and School Board at a very high cost to taxpayers, I might add. I discovered the board conducted an illegal meeting on September 6th back in 2022 and has done so on other occasions as well. Now, I'm going to explain the details on the meeting and the political aspect of it. But first, I want to go over the law with you. I want to go over the law with you governing open meetings, okay? Now, this is 2519-106, Arkansas Code 2519-106 under the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. The Arkansas Freedom of Information Act governs open public meetings. So, 2519-106. Open public meetings. Except as otherwise specifically provided by law, all meetings, formal or informal, special or regular, of the governing bodies of all municipalities, counties, townships, and school districts, and all boards, bureaus, commissions, or organizations of the state of Arkansas, except grand juries, supported wholly or in part by public funds or expending public funds, shall be public meetings. It's pretty clear. The time and place of each regular meeting shall be furnished to anyone who requests that information. In the event of emergency or special meetings, the person calling the meeting shall notify representatives of the newspaper, radio stations, and television stations, if any, located in the county in which the meeting is to be held, and any news media located elsewhere that cover regular meetings of the governing body and that have requested to be notified of emergency or special meetings of the time, place, and date of the meeting. Notification for the special or emergency meetings shall be made at least 2 hours before the meeting takes place in order that the public shall have representatives at the meeting. Okay, those are the two laws that apply to this for our conversation. There's another part. All officially scheduled, special, and called upon public meetings shall be recorded in a manner that allows for the capture of sound, including without limitation, a sound-only recording, a video recording with sound and picture, or a digital or analog broadcast capable of being recorded. A recording of an open public meeting shall be maintained by a public entity for a minimum of 1 year from the date of the open public meeting. The recording shall be maintained in a format that may be reproduced upon request under this chapter. Now, sometimes laws can sound kind of complicated because legislators are usually lawyers, and they're the ones that make them up, and lawyers have to review them. And so sometimes they can have those $50 words in there and sound confusing, but that's not. That's pretty simple language. That's very simple language, and it's very clear, and it's very easy to comprehend. So why is the board Why is the Conway School Board having trouble following it? Why are they having trouble following it? All right, let's get to the details on this. News stories and articles in late October and mid-November of 2022, this last October, November, circulated about a policy the board considered. That proposed policy was 5.5.2. The name of the proposed policy was going to be use or display of instructional materials. Board member Jason Sandifer was quoted as saying the policy had been drafted by the school board attorney, which again is Jay Beckett. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the content of 5.5.2. It's been discussed at length and in the past, and it gets into a lot of stuff involving CRT and sexual identity and things like that. So a lot of people thought it was controversial. But it's not relevant to what I'm talking about. But the fact that Beckett authored it is. Because his services and billing is what I was researching when I found all this out. So on April 17th, I sent the district an FOI request, okay? In that request, addressed it to School Board Superintendent Jeff Collum, and I copied all the board members on it. So Monday, April 17th, 8:06 a.m., I said, hey guys, under the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act, I request in electronic form via email the following pertaining to policy 5.5.2. The draft that was presented to the board. All documents and communications, including those in possession of Beckett, Billingsley, and Keys. That's the name of the firm Jay Beckett is with. He founded it. It's a good-sized law firm. All detailed billing and invoices from Beckett, Billingsley, and Keys. The agenda of the meeting 5.5.2 was presented to the board. The video and audio of the meeting 5.5.2 was presented to the board. And I'm always nice. I said, please acknowledge request of this receipt, or please acknowledge receipt of this request. Thanks, Jimmy Kevin. Okay? All right. The response I got to that request is what got my interest into the meeting. Okay? So the next day, Joe Lynn, who is the assistant superintendent at Conway Schools, provided me this. Good afternoon. Attached are documents responsive to your April 17th request concerning proposed policy 5.5.2. The finance folks are gathering the billing information I will forward when I receive it. There is not video or audio record of the work session. Okay? Now, right off the bat, I'm thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean there's no audio or video? What do you mean there's no audio? The law says you have to record all meetings. The law says it. Let me read it again, because it's awfully clear. All officially scheduled, special, and called open public meetings shall be recorded in a manner that allows for capture of sound, including without limitation, a sound-only recording, a video recording with sound or picture. Okay? The district, the Conway School District, video records all, or they're supposed to, they do it this way, they video record all of their meetings and put it on their YouTube channel. At least that's what they're supposed to. That's the process they use. It's just become very apparent it's when they want to use it, right? So now let me go to this. Now when I opened the file, the agenda for the meeting was there and the draft of the policy was there, but that was it. No communications, no other documents, which didn't make any sense and pretty much defied logic, right? And I mean, where is the documentation for the required notice? Where's that documentation? And you would think there would be communications between the district and Jay Beckett to request him to create and draft the policy. You would think that, right? Where are they? Where are they? Now, the agenda that they included, that they sent me in the stuff, reads as this: Conway Public School Board of Education, September 6, 2022, work session, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. On the agenda, Arkansas School Board training with board, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Lunch served, 11:30 a.m. Policy review with attorney, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. By the way, September 6th was a Tuesday. Keep in mind, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. They gave me the attendee sign-in sheet, which by law you don't have to sign in, but the employees, I guess, technically they could make them. But basically, there were 13, well, let's count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 signatures on there, 7 of which were board members, 1 of which was Jeff Collum, and you got Jay Beckett, so that leaves the rest, and the rest, by looking at the names, were staff members. Were staff members. So I'm not really seeing any public there. One board member told me, they said, well, Deborah Sheldon Hale of the Arkansas Times was there. Well, I talked to Deborah, and Deborah was not there. Deborah didn't even know the meeting took place. Okay? So the district did, after that, send me the detailed billing from Jay Beckett on this, okay? So I've got that right here. For him to create this policy on August 12th of 2022, he charged a half hour for reviewing policy. On August 12th, 2022, he drafted the policy. On August 16th, 2022, he reviewed and revised the policy. On August 16th, 2022, he did legal research on the policy. He says he's got a total on the billing of 8 hours, and so he charged the district, which means he charged me and you, the taxpayers, $2,000. $2,000 to author and create this draft policy. That's a lot of doggone money, right? That is a lot of doggone money. Now, everything I looked at just begged more questions. So I sent another FOI request because the meeting was on September 6th, but if you listen to those billing dates, that was in mid-August that he worked on and created this, right? So I sent another FOI request. And on, excuse me, Monday, April 24th, 7:37 a.m., I sent it to Superintendent Jeff Collum, and I sent it to Jay Beckett as well. And I copied the board on it. Good morning. Please reference the attached, and it was part of the information they sent me, the agenda. I said, under the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act, I request in electronic form via email the following pertaining to 5.5.2. The request and directive to Jay Beckett to create and draft the policy. If the request directive was made in a meeting or work session with the board, the agenda for that meeting. All communications pertaining to 5.5.2, emails, text, letters, etc. Of course, I'd already requested that and didn't get anything. Okay? Still have not gotten the info I requested in that. Still have not gotten the information I requested in that. Now, here's what happened, though. Jeff replied, let's see here. He replied almost immediately to this. Yeah, 8:07 a.m. I sent it at 7:37 a.m. 8:07 a.m. He said, Jimmy, And he copied the board, and he copied the board and sent it to Jay Beckett as well. He said, Jimmy, the request came from board members in a workshop with Mr. Beckett last year. I will send the agenda shortly. Okay. The policy never came back to any meetings or workshops, and the board never took any action on this policy. I understand that Mr. Lynn, Joel Lynn, is working on the remainder of your request. Well, yes, we already knew that the board didn't take any action on that, but I want you to listen to the request came from board members in a workshop with Mr. Beckett last year. I will send the agenda shortly. Okay? Well, he did. Okay? He sent it that after, actually, yeah, it looks like 10:59 or 10 after 8. Just right after that, he sent, here's the agenda and the draft policy. Again, there was never taken any action on the policy. Well, what he sent me was the agenda for the meeting on September 6th. He didn't send me the agenda where the board requested Jay Beckett draft this. He sent me the agenda for September 6th where Jay Beckett presented the draft to the board. So nothing about that makes sense, right? So I responded back to him. I said, hey, Jeff, I obtained the agenda in a previous request. I believe that is where Jay presented 5.5.2 to the board on September 6th, which he had worked to create on August 12th and August 16th. And I even sent that billing to him, the detailed billing showing the dates. I said, see attached, and yes, sir, I'm aware the board rejected that policy. What I'm looking for is the request and directive for Jay to draft the policy along with number 2 and 3 in the request. And to this day, I've still not got a response on that or that information to this day. And if you don't know, under the Arkansas Freedom of Information request, they're required within 72 hours to fulfill the request and provide you the information requested. Now, they've shown a real pattern here of late of not doing that. And that goes back to, and I don't know if some of you remember, the issues with a settlement agreement to a complaint made with the ADE in a due process case, H2240, which I'm not done with that. I'm going to be reporting on some more information on that. That just unbelievable how they've handled the Freedom of Information request on that and how they violated the laws on it. Okay, so anyhow, I mean, it's just clear. I mean, there was that other meeting, right? There was another meeting where the board, Jeff even said it, where the board requested Jay Beckett to draft that. In the Channel 7 news story back in November, it's quoted in there, is the same. So where is that meeting information? Why won't they give it to me? Why won't they get it? And I'm not done. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it and a lot more. You know, I'm not done with it, but it begs the question, why? Why won't you provide that? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. And so let's summarize, okay? Let's summarize what we got so far. A board meeting was held on September 6, 2022, which was a Tuesday, during the work week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Stop and think about that. At 10 a.m. Meetings are usually held at 6 p.m. in the boardroom, so it gives people time to get off work and get there. They held this at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, a work day. Pretty hard for people to get there, right? Pretty hard for people. There was no public notice. There was no public notice required in the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. I read you the laws. There was no notice given to the local newspapers, radio station. Then there was no notice given to people who have requested to be notified of meetings. There was no notice given. There was no notice given. The meeting was not recorded. The meeting was not recorded. Now, anyway, you could. This was an illegal meeting. Period. The end. Period. The end. It was an illegal meeting, and it's clear. It's clear it was set up to keep out of the public eye. To keep it out of the public eye. And let's think about it. Controversial policy they're going to talk about. Right? Controversial policy they're going to talk about. Keep it out of the public eye. Keep it out of the public eye. That's clear. That's just obvious to me. I don't want to see someone try to dispute that. I want to see somebody try to dispute that. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not done digging in on it. I'm not done digging in on this one bit. I'm going to press to get that information. I'm going to ask for more information. I'm not done on this at all. Now, in my post, I talked a little bit about the political end of this and how it applies with the upcoming school board election, okay? Now, I want to be clear again that board member Bill Milburn, who was appointed back in October to the board and is up for election coming up in May, election day, May 9th. I want to make clear he was not any part of this whatsoever. He wasn't even on the board at the time that this happened, and to me, that's very important to point out. That's very important to point out. Now, just as I thought would happen, there are a lot of conservative Republicans in Conway that are really pissed off at me right now for reporting this. I mean, they are pissed. And they aren't mad at the board for breaking the law. They're not mad at the board members for breaking the law. They're not mad at the board for not being transparent with the citizens. They're mad at me for reporting the truth and the facts. I'm hearing from them that I at least should have held off reporting this until after the election. No, that's not what I do, boys. That's not what I do. When I get the facts on anything, I report them as soon as I can. I always have. I don't choose the timelines. When I get the information, when I get facts, I bring it to you. I bring it to you as soon as I can. Now, let me say again, I've never withheld bringing the facts and truth because of politics on an election, and I damn sure never will. Never going to do that. Now, I know others that report on things around Conway, Faulkner County do. They'll hold off on providing stuff like that for political reasons for election, but you know what? That's not me. That ain't me. I stand on my conservative values. And my question to a lot of those who are mad about this, where are yours? Where are your conservative values? Okay? You know what's hypocritical? Let me say what's hypocritical. let's reverse the thing. Let's say that what I was reporting on is Sheila Franklin and Trey Greer taking part in illegal meetings. Let's say I was reporting on that, right? Let's say I was reporting on that. Do you think the same conservative Republicans, and I'm a conservative, everybody knows it, I'm a conservative Republican, but do you think these same folks, these same board members, these same people around Conway, do you think that they wouldn't be cheering me on to do that? Do you think they wouldn't be happy as larks to see me reporting about that? To see me reporting about the other side doing that? They would. They'd be doing backflips, wouldn't they? They'd be doing backflips. That's hypocritical. That's hypocritical any way you cut it, right? Listen, aren't we supposed to be better than that? Okay, aren't we? Aren't we as conservatives supposed to be better than that? Aren't we supposed to hold ourselves to a higher standard? To a higher standard of ethics and to a higher standard of transparency. Aren't we supposed to do that? Instead of questioning why I reported on it, okay, shouldn't all you folks be asking the board members why they broke the law? Why they broke the law for the sake of not being open and transparent with the people? Shouldn't that be what you're asking? Shouldn't you be asking that question? I'm going to ask it. Don't know if I'll get answers. I don't know if I'll get answers from them, but I'm damn sure going to ask it. The board has done some really good things, and they have done some really good things. Just think what they could accomplish if they would just follow the law. If they would just follow the law. If they would stick to ethics. Okay? The reality is they are their own worst enemies. I've talked about this before. They do got a lot of good things, but they step on their own feet. They get out over their skis. Okay, they're their own worst enemies. Let me finish with this. Okay, Discipline is a major problem in our schools, right? Major problem, and the board has indicated they're going to get control of it. They're going to get control of the discipline. My question to them is, how are you going to demand students? How are you going to demand students follow the rules when you won't? How are you going to demand they follow the rules when you won't? How are you going to demand discipline in schools when you aren't practicing discipline? How are you going to do that? What's your plan? How are you going to do that? Listen, it starts with y'all. It starts with y'all. You got to be the example. The board, all you folks on the board, you got to be the example. You got to be the example. And let me say real quick, if Jennifer Cunningham, who's running at large, who's on the board, if Jennifer Cunningham loses the election, which she shouldn't, if conservatives go to the polls, if the conservatives come out in force and go to the polls, she shouldn't lose the election, okay? But if she loses the election and some of you guys want to blame me, just remember this. I'm not the one who broke the law. All right, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you brought a little bit of insight to this, and I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Thanks.